Well, we roll on to another very, very special meeting here, and very much looking forward to a Whirlpool preview of Wednesday at York, the Ebor meeting, one of the best meetings on the planet. 7 races to look forward to in the company, as ever, alongside me in the studio of John Blance and Graham Cunningham. The first race run locally, 150. It is a fiercely competitive handicap, a sprint handicap over 1,100 metres with a massive field. Let's show you the course, and it's a pretty simple one. But it's a challenge as well, depending on where you draw and where the pace is. And there are a lot of runners for this first race, 20 runners, the max field being 22, almost capacity. Let's have a look at the runners. Roman Dragons there, further down Vintage Clarets, T Spirit, Bergerac's an interesting runner, Squealer, Azure Angel, the man we'll be talking about in a few moments' time. This is the Hong Kong Jockey Club Whirlpool Handicap, and these are the other runners: Kendall Roy for Ireland, Brazen Bolt, further down Marty Hopkirk, Mondesleeve, Spring is Sprung, won a big pot recently, Air Force One, Cuban Grey and Copper Knight last but by no means least. 34 runs at York this will be. John, hello.
Hello.
Should we talk about the man
Absolutely.
who won at York in May and hasn't been seen since?
Yeah, that is the slightly problematic thing about this horse. Second run, it will be second run after a wind-up, so this was the first run, and it was a very good performance. It absolutely screamed this sort of a race, because if you look him here, he's just off the back of the speed. He don't want to be too far back in these sprints at York. He travelled really strongly, got the job done, but as we said, Graham, he hasn't been seen since, and 3-year-olds have got pretty average record in this race as well.
Yeah, I think there are 1 or 2 little red flags for this fella, considering he's at the top of the market. This was his first run since being gelded and having a breathing operation. He's been off the track for over 3 months since. That's concerning, and he's up 8 pounds. This was for 3-year-olds only. Wednesday will be for older horses. Impressive success, but he doesn't come without 1 or 2 little concerns.
Let's go back to York once again. I'll get the thoughts of Graham next up on Air Force One, and indeed the redoubtable Copper Knight, who, as I said, is getting on for 35 runs at this track, won this race years ago. But Air Force One's on the up.
I think he is. He's had a light campaign so far, and we picked them up here, and we're going to see a few York VTs. The low to middle horses, by and large, have had the edge in sprint handicaps. This horse offset a middle to high draw, and if you think 1 or 2 of these jockeys don't look quite so streamlined as the flat lads, it's because it was the jump jockeys Nunthorpe Stakes, and was it Daddy McMenamin on the winner? I think it was. He wins with authority. John, I'm just not sure whether we can take this completely at face value, given the jockeys were jumpers rather than flat guys. Yeah,
and you mentioned the switch that McMenamin made in the early part of the race, which was a crucial one. That was a Class 4 race as well. This is Class 2. This is a much tougher race. I think he'll go okay. Gate 10, not too bad at all. He's just sort of on a minor line for me.
John, I know actually both of you, but I'm going to go to you because we can get the thoughts of Graham as well on Bergerac, who, no stranger to success at York, has won here a couple of times in the past. Can he win again?
He's still going extremely well, as this run in the Scottish Stewards Cup advertises here that we're looking now, and he's got a really good record in this race. Won it in 2022, and then the 2 runs subsequently, 6th in 2024, had a terrible draw, and he stumbled at the start in 2023, so he's had excuses in the last 2 runnings of this. As I say, Graham, he's still in really great health. He's got a perfect run style for this, and this time round stall 9 is a good one for him too.
Absolutely bang on. He's as good as ever, this horse. Yes, he's 7 years of age now, but he hasn't lost a step in any way. So it's not just this run, it's a very good success at Newcastle. It's his record here at York and his run style. All sorts of positives for this horse. He's a big price here in Britain at the moment. He should be pushing for favouritism near the off, I think. OK,
Graham, we're going to sit with you and get your thoughts on Spring is Sprung, who is a very valuable horse to Connections. A recent new initiative is the Sunday Series, and he won a huge pot.
I think it was a 100 grand bonus, I think it was. We pick him up travelling really well, right on the stands rail. Don't think it was a draw-dominated race, John. I just think this horse was on a roll. He travels beautifully. When we pick up the finish, you'll see he has to work pretty hard. Copper Knight is there in third. I don't think Copper Knight is quite the force he used to be, but his record at York is tremendous. Interestingly, though, John, have a look. He has to work hard, but first 2 come clear. Jason Hart got off him and said, I still think there's plenty in the tank.
Yeah, you're dead right about the draw as well. There was another race over the same trip that day at Haydock, and there was nowhere near the bias. I think it was just a quirk of fate there. But yeah, Spring is Sprung will probably go forward along with Mondesleeve and Tatterstall as well, so there's going to be some serious pace in this race. I worry that Spring is Sprung might be drawn too much into that gallop, but we'll see.
If you like big fields, you'll like York throughout the week and indeed at the end of our card. But let's talk about the selections of the first, Graham.
Well, we have 3 sprint handicaps on the card. on day one at York. So the draw could be important. This will give us a clue. I like Bergerac. I think he's got loads in his favour. 6 on top of 7 Trefort. We haven't mentioned him, but he's in great form, and he's a pound lower than when just pipped at Windsor last week. 17 Springer Sprung is on the up, and 2 Jordan Electrics, who ran really well for second in this race last year, and York will have been on his agenda for a while. Bergerac's the one though, John?
I think he is, yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. He'll be too big a price at the moment, so we'll see how it develops. But he's one of those slightly older horses that maybe doesn't have the progressive profile, so you might get a really good value price about him, hopefully. The Man, I have 1 or 2 reservations about, but it was a really good run, no doubt about that. Curious Rover has got a lovely run style for this. Draw's not absolutely ideal, but I think will go well. And Brazen Bolt has been in great form of late too. Possibly the 5.5 might be a bit too far for him, but he's gone well at York in the past, so that's my 1, 2, 3.
I wish you well. John, Graham, I'm going to go with Graham's second selection there, Trefort, to continue a very good run of form in the first at York. So race 2, York Wednesday, big Whirlpool meeting, big Whirlpool day. It is the first juvenile race. It is the first group race. It's the Achim Stakes, and it is run over 1,400 metres. Group 3 race for the 2-year-olds. Looking forward to this. And just take in the course map. There's that slight turn as they'll begin at the start of the 1,400 metre shoot. And in recent years, it's been won by some very good horses. The Lion in Winter actually beat a Guineas winner in this. Caldine went on to win the Guineas after winning this as a juvenile. Distant Storm, Giwan, Goodwood Galaxy, Italy, May Angel, Oceans 4, Rochfoot Bridge and Sovereign Ocean. They are your runners. They are the 8 who go to post, and we hope they stand their ground. From one Whirlpool meeting ground to another, let's have a look at Goodwood Galaxy a few weeks ago.
Yeah, this is a horse who's got bags of ability. I think he might not be completely straightforward. He made all, first time at Salisbury at a big price, and he pulled pretty hard under restraint here. Watch him switched, coming home strongly. And if you go close in a Group 2 at Goodwood, this is an obvious port of call. But his trainer did say, David Manoissier, after his Goodwood win, he can be a bit opinionated at times. It's an interesting quote, isn't it? And this fella does some really good late work, John. But I'm not convinced he's one for a top line here. He might run into a place, but I couldn't make him any stronger than that myself.
Well, this is the piece of pattern form that's in the book here with the horses we're going to talk about shortly. Italy and Distant Storm are going to be horses who are still stepping up to this level with a great deal of promise in the numbers, but not quite on top.
Do you know what? Pure Whirlpool style. Goodwood Galaxy's got the opinions and his trainer needs to get them out of him. Anyway, that's the private joke between me and Graham. I do apologise. Right, let's have a look at the worst kept secret in racing, John, and that is Distant Storm's form at Newmarket.
Yeah, it's quite astonishing if you go through it with the horses that have won subsequently. And he was close to a pretty tepid gallop here, but the first 2 ended up miles clear of the rest. The Tabor colours, they're the horse in second, a horse called Constitution River. As I say, a whole slew of these have come out and won since, Graham. You can't not take notice of that, and he's got a very, very good chance for a stable who've done well in this race before.
That's the key point. This form has been polished, polished and polished again. So it looks like this fella is way above average. He's bred to be very smart, and he's got a unique little factoid about him. Do you know what it is?
Go on.
His dam, Date with Destiny, was the only foal ever sired by the mighty George Washington. So he's got an illustrious pedigree, and he's got a very, very bright future based on that Newmarket win, which has been boosted time and again.
Let's go to another 1,400 metre race at Newmarket. It was a group race, superlative stakes, Graham. The dogs were barking about Italy going into it, went off a very warm order.
Yeah, this was a messy race, though. Keep a close eye. You couldn't say he was a desperately unlucky loser, John, but he was hindered and checked and hampered. For a horse who'd only had 1 run and maybe didn't learn a right lot at Leopardstown first time out, this was the last thing he needed. But the vibes about Italy are still very strong. I get the impression that Aidan O'Brien definitely thinks he's a pattern race colt, and I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, he was sort of being continually edged across the track, wasn't he here? It probably wasn't the excuse for him not winning, but it was still a very decent performance. And yeah, those 2, Distant Storm and Italy, are the preeminent ones in the market for a reason. OK, it's got
a good roll of honour recently, this, Graham. Who's going to win it this year?
I'm hoping it's going to be Italy, Nick. He went to Leopardstown with a big reputation first time. He beat a pretty smart horse, the Secret Adversary, and he beat him well. There are definite partial excuses for him last time. I think we'll see the real Italy this time around. I'm going to go 4, 1, 2 and 3. It could be a real Coolmore versus Godolphin battle, this, John?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm going to go marginally for Distance Storm. Well, obviously, I really respect Italy's chance as well. But Distance Storm, you've got to take note of that, the form, the way it's all worked out. Italy in for second, Goodwood Galaxy for third, and Gawan in there for fourth. It was a good run at Newbury on debut. You can probably step up on that, but would need to.
I think I'm going to take on Godolphin just to surprise John. I'm going to go
Incredible.
for Italy number 4 to win it. That is a look from us here in the studio at the Achim Race 2 at York. Moving on to race 3, which is a race for the 3 year-olds as we step up in distance. It's got a very strong favourite in it. It's the Derby favourite, the Derby winner, Lambourne, who goes forward for the Great Voltigeur, which is run over 2,400 metres. It can be that tee up to the St Leger. And unlike our first couple of races, we'll be taking in a much longer distance. And you'll see exactly where they start before they have to turn to their left and eventually hit the top of the home straight. And we'll see who's going to come out on top. There are 7 who go forward for the Great Voltigeur of 2025. These are they. Lambourne is there, Karmas, Pride of Arras, who's already a course winner this year, Arabian Force, and Aidan O'Brien really stacking the runners in here. They've got Mount Kilimanjaro, Stay True, Thrice to join the stablemate Lambourne, and he is unquestionably, Graham, the star attraction. Let's have a look at his win at Epsom.
He does have a £5 penalty. He is coming back from a short break. He'll have major autumn targets. And this was an unusual race tactically in that he just got on the front end, kept rolling, and all the fancied horses failed to fire a major shot. But even though we can quibble as to whether he's a real top-notch Derby winner, John, and we'll come to his current success in a minute, what we cannot quibble about this horse is his straightforwardness, his honesty, and his willingness to keep galloping.
Yeah, it was a very high-quality performance. It was a really high-quality ride from Wayne Lorden as well, the way he just sort of subtly slowed it down for a couple of furlongs mid-race and then went again a long way out. But he showed he really gets the trip extremely well, and obviously then went on to the Curragh in a race where they went a strong gallop throughout, and he was on the sharp end of that. And a lot of people sort of crabbed the Curragh form and said he didn't look particularly impressive, but against the clock he was. I thought it was a really good run, Graham, over in Ireland, and he was a thoroughly deserved winner.
Dual Derby winner.
Yeah.
You know, there aren't too many of those around, and despite the penalty, he comes out clear top on the ratings here. Have a look at this. John's right. He had it put up to him from an earlier stage than at Epsom. He didn't get quite the saloon passage. He looked in trouble for a while, but he really knuckles down. He's uncomplicated, he stays very strongly, and he's battled hard. And now the £5 penalty is the potential concern, but when the going gets tough, this horse clearly gets going, doesn't it?
Interesting, Aidan O'Brien said after this, I'm not sure, he said, how would this horse survive in the wild? That was his interview. He said that he's so laid back. He's so look, maybe he was only just going through the motions to go and win, but I completely see what you're talking about as regards visually, maybe not that great, but very good on the clock. And Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore have won the last 2. Karmas, you saw this horse at Royal Ascot. He's on the improve.
He is on the improve. He comes from a very, very capable yard, that of Paddy Toomey, and he's 3 from 3. His Royal Ascot success was gritty. It has been polished once or twice, but we pick him up the time before, John. Pretty useful minor event, and this tells you a good tale about Karmas. He's not flash, but a bit like Lambourne. When it gets hard, he finds a lot off the bridle.
This is quite a slowly run race early as well. He had to find a bit of a turn of foot to win against other horses who were being quickening up in the closing stages as well. So it was a good effort. So you say, Graham, the race at Ascot, the Queen's Vase, has been polished, Scandinavia further, etc. So it's a really good form race, and he'll go forward too, and probably lock horns with Lambourne a long way out.
And one quick line on him. His rating is only 106 at the moment, which tells you he needs to improve. But his jockey, Billy Lee, is on record as saying he wouldn't pass the dog at home. That he's not flashy. He's just a professional workman-like racehorse. So more to come from him, but there needs to be.
It sounds like glowing reports of both Lambourne and Karmas from their connections, as we've reported. Now gelded, Pride of Arras. We've talked about form races. What do you make of the Dante?
Who knows? Who knows? Back in mid-May, John, this horse put his hand up as a Derby colt and looked a premier Derby colt. We pick him up winning the Dante Stakes, but it's fair to say that when 5 or 6 of these went to Epsom, you couldn't find them on the radar, could you?
No, Pride of Arras just ran no sort of a race at Epsom at all. This was a good effort, but given the way the race turned out. They went quite slowly early, had to pass quickening rivals in the latter stages and went away from them. A lot of shrewdies thought he was a good thing in the Derby, would run very well. Then they gave him another chance in Ireland, and again he ran badly. So it's third time lucky, but it needs to be.
Yeah, 4-1 at Epsom, didn't fire any sort of a shot. 8-1 at the Curragh, ran lamentably. So it's very difficult to know where we are with Pride of Arras at the moment.
Combined 70 lengths behind Lambourne. I know that's not a literal thing, but the last twice, so it's hard to fancy. Graham, your selections?
Yeah, I toyed with the idea of taking on Lambourne here, and £5 penalty, but then I thought, he's got by far the best form. So it's got to be one Lambourne. Interesting that Aidan O'Brien is running a couple of 3 stablemates here. Number 5, Mount Kilimanjaro, isn't a horse we've touched on, and he hasn't been out since Chester in early May, but he looked really good that day, and he's a strong stayer. 2, Karmas looks bound to run well, and 6, Stay True, another Aidan horse. I've got O'Brien horses in 3 of the first places in the voltage, John. 1, 5, 2 and 6.
Yeah, quite similar numbers for me. I'm going to go with Lambourne on top. He's obviously got a very, very solid chance, and even the penalty will be probably not enough to stop him. I like Karma's in there for second. Arabian Force, the race at Ascot, the Hampton Court, wasn't run to suit him, has run well subsequently. I think he might go okay if they go a decent gallop from a long way out, and Stay True in for 4th.
One quick line, we should mention that a couple of key rivals like Merchant and Amelot, they would have been the betting choices behind Lambourne. They're not here, so he needs to deliver, doesn't he?
He does, and I think he will. Clean sweep. Lambourne, the Derby winner, to win the Voltige. And so to the best race of the day, for many the week, and on a couple of occasions the last few years or so, the best race on the planet as regards those international ratings. It is the Judmont International. We cannot wait for it. It is run locally at 3:35. It's run over 2,100 metres, and some of the finest horses over the last half century or so have won this race. Some have been beaten in it, but it is littered with superstars. Cannot wait for this race. And that is the course map. Right, Burcastle, supplemented in from France. Pacemakers can't win Group 1s, though. Danon de Seal from Japan. Ombudsman, See the Fire, Derrit's, another from France. And Delacroix, a little bit of a doubt earlier this weekend, more than a little bit of a doubt, but he is here, and he is Ryan Moore's mount. Right, let's have a look at him, Graham, winning the key form line, which is the Coral Eclipse.
Yeah, this is the Coral Eclipse, somewhat messy race, and the question is, John, is this a total or partial eclipse guide to how good these 2 colts are? Because it was run at a stop-start gallop. Aidan O'Brien said Ryan Moore had to change plan 4 times. John Gosden engaged in animated debate with Buick about getting too close to the pace and no cover. I'm just not sure this isn't very, very accurate guide to what these 2 colts can do, John.
No, it was a very, very funny race, because if you stopped it at the furlong mark, if you said which horse would you want to lay here, it would be Delacroix, because he seemed to be going backwards, and then suddenly he's produced an astonishing finishing kick to reel in Ombudsman. So he's done that before in his Derby trials as well, shown an electric turn of foot, Delacroix, and I think the 10 furlongs is ideal for him, obviously, as that shows. But again, this could be a tricky little race to work out tactically too.
Tactically, slip-ups have been the norm in the Group 1 races. We're thinking about the King George, thinking about the Sussex Stakes, thinking about 4 or 5 Group 1s this season.
Yeah.
Prince of Wales. But this time we have a pacemaker, Burcastle, who will hopefully do his job right. And I think Ombudsman's demolition job of a good field in the Prince of Wales Stakes, a fast run race, that still to me is the strongest piece of 2,000 metre form in Europe that we've seen this season.
OK, Graham, I'm going to stick with you. This is the proper international form line we're going to have a look at now. A Japanese horse winning in Dubai. He comes over Danon de Seal for the Japanese crack at this race 2 decades on from the last one.
Zeno Rob Roy came very close to beating Electrocutionist, Italian raider, in this race 20 years ago. Now, Zeno Rob Roy was the Japanese horse of the year when he rolled into York. This horse hasn't achieved that status yet, but he's very good, John. He gets a perfect ride here over a slightly longer trip, but do bear in mind the horses he beat, Calandagan, Rebel's Romance, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th were rated 125, 123, 123 and 121.
Yeah.
That's world-class form, John.
It is. The thing that concerns me, though, that was the last time he ran back in April. So why the long break? Obviously, he's been stabled here in the UK with eyes on this, but you'd have thought he might have had a prep run. He's a high-class performer, as that piece of form shows. So he's in the numbers, but not quite on top.
John, I'm going to go to you for this next one. Let's have a look at the filly See the Fire. Everyone wants to emulate their parents, don't they? Or maybe even usurp what they did. She'd have to go some, though, given that Mum and Dad both won this race.
Yes, Mum at a very big price, famously, all those years ago. But her record at York is unimpeachable. I mean, this is obviously only a Group 2, and there are bits and pieces of form behind the likes of Ombudsman, which suggests he's got a bit to find. But hopefully they're going to go strong gallop here. There was a good strong gallop here. She's absolutely spaced, albeit sort of Group 2 and Group 3 fillies. I think you can knock out the Goodwood run. That was obviously on the changing ground. It's a very, very difficult race to sort out this. I think she might just be a little bit of each-way value, certainly.
Yeah, I think she'll run a very strong race. York's a big plus for her. My slight reservation would be that when she came up against Ombudsman in a strongly run race, she didn't seem quite good enough.
On to the selections, we ought to wrap up as well by mentioning the fact that the top-level French trainer, the best there is at the moment, Graffard, who brought over Clandegam for this race last year, has got an unbeaten horse this year. Darius
is a big, good-looking, impeccably bred horse. But on the form book, John, he's about half a length, 3 parts of a length better than Bay City Roller, and that's way removed from what's needed.
Well, and also all those Darius runs have been jog sprint races, like which you normally get in France. This is going to be potentially very different. Yeah, exactly, on the much faster ground as well. So 1 or 2 French form book students I know really like his chance, but he's not for me.
Yeah, it's good to have him there, but I think he's in way deeper than he's ever been before.
We want to see good horses tested to see how they are. Right, the best race of the week for many, who wins it?
I think pace is the key for appealing to this Ombudsman. I think you'll get it here. If Burcastle does the job right, I think you'll be hard to beat. 3, 2, 6 and 4, and fingers crossed we don't have any more tactical slip-ups.
Yeah, I was quite sort of tempted to put the pacemaker Burcastle in the numbers, but I've resisted that particular temptation after Kirat the other week. But yeah, I'm going to go with See the Fire on top. I think she's valued. It's a Group 1 race which you could run 10 times and get 4 or 5 different results, I think. So I'm going to go with a little bit of value seeking. See the Fire should be a decent price. Delacroix, if he can reel off that final sectional from Sandown, he's going to be not too far away. Danon Desil could be the best horse in the race, but I just worry about his lack of a recent run and Ombudsman in there for 4th. So 4, 6, 2 and 3.
Gentlemen, good luck with your selections. I hope it is a superb race. It should be as well. It is the showpiece of the entire day and indeed the week, and I hope that the Japanese can win it. Danon Desil. Race 5 is the long distance race of the day, run over north of 3,200 metres. Only those that can stay can apply for our 5th race on the card. Let's show you the course map as well. They'll start right in front of the grandstand and then swing left down the back and left again before rejoining the home straight and finding out who stays best, who's best. Wise Eagle heads them. New head gain combination. Artistic Star, Santorini Star, Charging Thunder. Further down the line, the Stars, Spirit Mixer, Alphonse Legrand will come to. Our Muhit, Maglark, Artisan Dancer and Terrorise. And they are your runners. Right, let's have a look at the back end of last season, John. This is Alphonse Legrand, who won the Cesarewitz and then sort of didn't win it and then won it again, but we don't need to go into that.
No, we don't. It was all very controversial. And it was very strange, Cesarewitz. They came home in like 2 or 3 groups right across the track, which doesn't often happen. But Alphonse Legrand travelled really well. This was on a soft autumnal surface at Newmarket over the 2.5 miles, on almost certainly much faster ground, and over the 2 miles. I'm less keen. The pace angle is key in this race. There's not much of it, and he's obviously one of many hold-up horses in the race.
He's only had 2 runs since, so I think he's been geared towards a second half of the season campaign. And he did catch the eye when 8th in the Ascot Stakes at Royal Ascot, getting not much luck in running. So it looks like he's rounding into some good form, Alphonse.
Yeah, I can see that. Let's have a look at some Glorious Goodwood form behind a good horse in the form of Sam Hawkins and Dancing in Paris, the best of these. I like this run, Graham.
I'd like the Dancing in Paris run in particular. He's just a very solid, bang-in form horse. And the horse who beats him here, John, Sam Hawkins, is a real improver and destined for big races in Australia, perhaps. So if Dancing in Paris is in this sort of form again, even from a slightly higher mark, he's a player.
He is, yeah. This was quite a slowly run race, and he wasn't absolutely well positioned. He does generally get held up in his races, and again, I'm slightly concerned about a marked lack of pace in this race. But if he can produce something like this, he won't be too far away.
He goes well at York. He's just 2 pounds higher, and his consistency is a plus point for him as well.
Graham, we'll go to you. And on that note of horses who go well at York, Terrorise is looking to back up a good success last time.
He sort of arrived on my radar quite late in the piece, but he's firmly on it now because of this performance, and no coincidence, chaps, that he should improve on his first attempt on the flat over 2 miles. Now, this wasn't that flash a race, but look at the way he wins it. He travels beautifully, settles it neatly, and he's bang on top. The 3rd horse has won since, gives it a minor polish. It's definitely a much classier race, but John, he's an unexposed horse over 2 miles on the level.
Yeah, he's gone up from 71 to 79 from a ratings perspective. 8 stone 2 though in the saddle, so very lightweight. Nice draw as well. Gate 7 should be able to get into a nice prominent position here. So yeah, he's in my numbers as well.
Guy who rode him there, Ben Robinson, would have to cut off an arm to do 8 stone 2. So it's a really handy booking for Holly Doyle, who has not had a very good start to the week, losing her retained job with Imad El Sega.
Yes, that's true. So the Stayers race, who wins it?
Let's have a look. I'm going to go with Terrorize on top here. 13-6-8-1. Wise Eagle is in there for fourth. He's a cracking horse.
Yes.
Do note that he has the assistance of Warren Fentiman's £5 claim for the first time, as well as headgear changes. 13-6-8-1 in a wide open staying race, John.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to take a punt on the speed map, though, here, and think there's not going to be a huge amount of pace, so those towards the head of affairs might just be advantaged in this spot. I'm going to go with Fireblade on top, who won the Shergar Cup Stayers last weekend. So there's a fairly quick backup, but positioned beautifully just off the back of the speed there. Al Muhit's very interesting, the obvious leader in this race. Wayne Lorden riding for Faye Bramley. That's a combination I didn't think I'd talk about very often, and may not again, but very good from the front, as we saw. The Derby, of course, Wayne Lorden. Terrorised for the reasons that Graham's given. And the dear old Northumberland Plate winner, Spirit Mixer, should get a nice run round as well in there for fourth.
Good luck, gents. Irish horses have well, very much gone well in this, not least Tony Martin trained horses. Heartbreak City won this. He's 4 from 22 at the track, and I'm hoping he can make it 5 with Alphonse de Grande. Race 6 of the 7 this Wednesday, massive Whirlpool Day, opening day of York's fabled Ebor meeting. Well, it's going to be fast and furious, run at 4:45 locally. 21 are going to go out for the fillies handicap, Heritage Handicap, over 1,000 metres. So there's your straight track and trip, and only the speediest fillies can contest this race. It is indeed the course and distance that the Group 1 from Friday will be run, the Numble. Star of Memas heads them. We'll go down to the likes of Ruby's Prophet, Queen's Guard, Nadal Sheba Green, Jumbo, Wolverhampton, Eckler Edge, Colin Keane, the Irish champion riding. Over the page, Luna Inverness, Nova May, Lady Roxby, Forager, Fancy Obsessor and Woo Hoo. OK, let's have a look at one who I think has tickled your fancy a little bit here.
Yeah,
Nadal Sheba Green.
Conflicted here, chaps, because I'm cruising for a bruising Reether draw. Low to middle have had the edge at York for a while, and Nadal Sheba Green is drawn right on the near side, installed 20 of 21. But pick her up here, stalking, travelling really well, and splitting a couple of horses who are smart. The winner, Kaseya, was back from a long break, but potentially really well handicapped. The third horse has run well at Goodwood, and she quickens up nicely and just goes down to a pretty useful rival. She has gone to Goodwood since and disappointed, but she missed the break amid a deluge that day. I think she's much better than that, John, and I know it's a speculator, but I'll take a chance on her running well from the draw, especially as we have a multitude of blasters here.
Absolutely. I haven't got her on top, and I've got her in for fourth. I think she'll run very well. Gate 20, not ideal, but as Graham says, Ruby's Prophet, Eclairage, Luna Inverness and others go forward.
So let's have a look at, once again, some more Whirlpool form from Glorious Goodwood earlier on in the month. And assuming the ground's not rapid quick, I don't know. But Ruby's Prophet should run a race, shouldn't she? She usually does.
She does. She's thoroughly consistent. She's got a slightly tricky draw from Gate 15, and she's got a horse called Eclairage, who we'll come to shortly. It might be even faster than her, but she really is a tremendously tough and likeable filly. She'll not be too far away, I wouldn't have thought, in this spot. But I think there might be one or two who'll be staying on towards the latter stages past it.
Yeah, she's just a very, very consistent, likeable, speedy filly, but she's going to have tons of company on the front end here, one way or another. I think that the mid-pack horses are going to have some say at the finish here, but that's what she does. Gets on the engine, runs really well. Nadal Sheba Green is dropping out the back of the screen here. Things did not go her way at Goodwood. I hope she can reverse the form this time around.
John, 6 wins since the beginning of March for Luna Inverness, and being the top draw and very professional commentator you are, I'm sure she's just the type of name you want to scream in a finish. It's a bit of a mouthful.
It certainly is, but I think she's going to go very, very close here. The piece of form we're going to take a look at here is over the 5.5 furlongs, so she's shown an ability to really stick out a slightly longer trip really well. She's got the speed to have been prominent throughout here as well, so she won't be leading this lot, but she'll just be behind a really strong gallop. A strongly run 5 furlongs on the Knaves Mire. Gate 6, loads to like about her.
You know, she cost 1,000 guineas going for a 100-grand handicap here. I know that you're scholars of Scots Gaelic. It means moon over Inverness. Yeah. And she's also bidding to become the first horse in Britain to win 7 times this year. She's super likeable. Look how she digs in when the pack come to call. She's up in the weights, but I think she's got every chance of running another bonny race. Her trainer, Katie Scott, is up and coming. It's a big day for all concerned with Luna and Inverness.
Yeah, and Jason Hart, 2 from 300, is excellent judge of speed races, I think, at York. You mentioned this one already, this filly Eclairage from Ireland.
Yeah, she threatened the 10-second barrier in this race at Court that we're going to see. Absolutely flew out the gates, and she really boxed on very, very well considering how the race panned out. Again, gate 18 is not ideal, but usually in sprints at York, 2 or 3 of the pace runners do run very well for a while, if not necessarily winning, so she goes in my numbers.
If her jockey wants to get across, John, she's fast enough to do so. But either way, she is really interesting here. She's 4 from 4 on the all-weather gents, hence the fact that she's got a 96 all-weather rating, but she's only 88 on the grass. And I think, John, we'd both agree this performance was enough to suggest she's probably effective on the green stuff. Drawn high, could be problematic, but very, very quick. Interesting Irish raider.
Excellent stuff. Look, another big field, should be open, should be a good thrill watch. Who's going to win it?
Well, the Quinella would be fantastic here. And I'm going against my better judgment in a way with Nadal Sheba Green, but I'm just drawn to her at a big price to stalk and pounce. 7, 11, Eclairage will be banged there from the off. 12, Luna and Ibanish. And 14, Nova May. Yes, she's owned by some very good friends of mine, but she's got much more than that to recommend her after 3 really strong handicap wins. 7, 11, 12, 14, John, this is hard.
It is, but quite similar numbers, albeit in a different order. When I go with Luna and Invia to win, she's got the absolutely perfect run style and the perfect draw. Sarah May should be getting into a nice position as well from a low draw. Eclairage in for third, bad draw, but loads of speed, might even be faster than Ruby's Prophet, and that's fast. And Nadal Sheba Green, if there is a pace collapse here, she will definitely benefit from it.
After the absolute horlicks of a pronunciation I've just given it, I'm going to go with what John said. Number 12 to win at York. £100,000 on offer for the final race of the day, which is for the juveniles. It's a nursery, and it concludes what is a star-studded card on Wednesday, this big Whirlpool day at York. 1,200 metres is the trip. Let's show you once again the distance. Max field of 22 has been declared, so they're going to be right across the straight track on the Knave Smile. First Legion, Rogue Supremacy, Amarim, can't win with a name like that. Old is Gold, Utmost Respect, Down, Saucy Jane, Mo of Cairo, Blue Orbit, Chairman 4 times. Well, that's just the first set. Temple of Athena, Go Vince Go, Ruby's Angel, Orad, Veiled Truth, and down to Believe in Me Now and Goldie Bear. Not for the first time in this preview, John. We're going to hail back to another World Pool Festival. It was Glorious Goodwood, and it involves a few of them. Shaman championed the best of them and almost won the race. Yeah, 3 weeks back to Glorious Goodwood, so it's an ideal sort of layoff for a lot of these horses. That's why we're looking at so much Glorious Goodwood form. Shaman champion was off the speed here, came on really well. Wasn't a bad effort from Blue Orbit, actually. Missed the break, then tried to get a gap or two. They weren't forthcoming. And Old as Gold missed the break, had to work to get into a prominent position, and was therefore probably well within its rights to be a little bit tired late doors. But Shaman champion has produced that good late surge, Graham, and should be in a position to reel off something similar here at York on Wednesday.
Thought he did well because he was drawn high and caught on the wing when they migrated to the far side. Have a look at the fella in front of the Watnan colours. Old is Gold, 2 ears pricked, still looks like he's playing around a bit, just faltered late. I think of this trio of horses, I think I would prefer Shaman champion. He does seem to be on the upgrade. He was very well backed for the Goodwood race, and significantly perhaps Richard Hughes moved pretty sharpish to book Ryan Moore for the York race. OK, GC. Group 2 entry for this horse that we're looking at next, number 5, Utmost Respect. Am I putting too much into this, that a name like, or this name for this yard, you know, they wouldn't be just chucking this name around? No, I think that's right. He was a high-quality sprinter for the Fahey stable over a decade ago now. We didn't learn a massive amount about him here, John. He was 1 to 4 in a small field race at Hamilton, but he pulls away to win with authority. Prior to that, he was a good thing beaten first time at York when he met all the trouble that was going, and he shaped really well in a pretty strong Windsor Castle Stakes. Yeah. So I think everything points to this horse being on the upgrade and a player on Wednesday. Yeah, he gave 1 to 4 backers here a few nervous moments. That's mainly because he missed the break and then had to sort of work to get into the race. So I think he was better for the winning margin. I've got him in to go well from stall 8. I think he's got a very good chance. Excellent stuff. Right, in conclusion, just the 22, they're 2-year-olds, so we can't hail back too far with the form. How do you see this? Well, I think I found one here, and I just want to confirm the rider. Yes. Ashley Lewis, a really promising £7 claimer, has been booked for number 11, Chairman 4 times, who really caught the eye a couple of starts back at Chester, and last time out, he was drawn wide, did a bit wrong, but still won his maiden race with authority. I think he's one of the best long shots, and I hope he is a long shot on the card. 11, Chairman 4 times with a good claimer on board. 5, Utmost Respect is a horse I've got plenty of time for. 6, Shaman Champion, better than he showed in that Goodwood race. And 20, Dublin Bay, who looked double moderate early on. But the race he won last time, Pulling a Bus, has been polished several times by horses who were beaten a long way. 11, 5, 6 and 20 in the nightcap.
And look at this beautiful segue. I've got Dublin Bay on top, horse number 20. It was a good run at Doncaster, visually and against the clock. I think he's got a very good chance from stall 6 of backing that up here. Utmost Respect in there for second. Blue Orbit from that Goodwood form that we saw. Have a look at the blind alleys he went down and still stayed on pretty well. And Ali G, horse number 15 in there for 4th.
Respect. Right, thank you very much indeed to both Graham and John for their thoughts throughout Wednesday's card. I'm going to go for Utmost Respect to win the final race, number 5. We will see you again tomorrow. Best of luck, whatever you're playing at York. Enjoy the day.